Well, Shabbat Shalom. I just want to welcome everyone to the Sabbath Day conference call. This is Barbara, and I'm serving as your host today, and also Brother Pete is here to assist me in all the reading. We just want to welcome all our family and friends that are here by phone, internet. Maybe you're listening to the YouTube. We invite everyone to go to our website, lunarsabbathday.com. It's a great source of information about the Creator's calendar and the gospel in the stars. So today our topic is Gospel in the Stars and the Calendar in the Heavens. This is from Bullinger's book, The Gospel in the Stars. For more than 2,500 years, the world was without a written revelation from Jehovah. The question is, did Jehovah leave himself without a witness?
In Romans 1:19 through 20, it is declared, that which may be known about Yahweh is plain to them, because Yahweh made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, Yahweh's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from that which was made. But how was Yahweh known? How were invisible things, his plans and his purposes, made known since the creation of the world? We are told by the Holy Spirit that faith comes by hearing. That is Romans 10:17 through 18. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, indeed. Quote, their sound has gone out to all the earth, and their words to the ends of the earth.
And we may ask, how have they heard? The answer follows. Their sound went into all the earth, and their words, their teaching, message, instruction onto the ends of the world. What words? What instruction? Whose message? Whose teaching? There is only one answer, and that is the heavens. This is settled by the fact that the passage quoted from Psalms 19 is occupied with the revelation of Jehovah written in the heavens.
Psalms 19:1 through 4. The heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him? That is Psalms 8:3 through 4. Psalms 147:4 through 5. He counts the number of the stars, and he calls them all by name. Great is our Elohim, and mighty in power. His understanding is infinite. In the beginning, then Yahweh said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. And Yahweh made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. That's Genesis 1:14 through 16. The word seasons is moedim or moed. And that word means to appoint, an appointment, a fixed time or season, a festival, and a signal as appointed beforehand, appointed sign or time. Psalm 136:1 through 9. Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the Elohim of gods. His love endures forever. Give thanks to Yahweh of lords. His love endures forever. To him who alone does great wonders, his love endures forever. Who by his understanding made the heavens, his love endures forever. Who spread out the earth upon the waters, his love endures forever. Who made the great lights, his love endures forever. The sun to govern the day, his love endures forever. The moon and stars to govern the night, his love endures forever.
How did Adam and Eve and the patriarchs know when to keep the Sabbath? Well, the moon regulates the weekly Sabbath. There's a calendar in the heavens. In Genesis, we learn that through the combined endeavor of the sun, moon, and stars, we are given the beacons for all the Creator's units of time. The appointed times via the lights, sun, moon, and stars, is the very signature of Jehovah's creative power, testifying that He is who He is, and His clock will never lose time. And His clock and His calendar tells when new moon days are, Sabbath, and feast days. The appointed times. Well, the sun is for days to divide the day from the night. The moon is for signs and seasons and years, months, weeks, and feasts. The stars are the 12 constellations, and they tell the seasons of the year and months. The new moon, Kodesh, number 2320, the Hebrew word that is translated in Scripture as new moon is Kodesh. The root of Kodesh is Hadesh, number 2318, which means to be new, renew, and repair. The moon begins to illuminate immediately after conjunction. We cannot see it, though, until the sun sets, because the moon is obscured by the greater light of the sun. The fact that we cannot see the moon immediately after conjunction, however, does not negate the fact that it has already began a new revolution with new illumination. Often the first visible crescent will be seen on the evening of new moon day, displaying her new light to the viewer. For those that teach that new moon is the full moon, here's a little information. A very clear issue is presented when reckoning new moon day by the full moon, in that the moon from day one is being torn down. It's losing light, not being renewed. Immediately after the moon fulls, it begins surrendering light. This means that between the evening that the new moon is declared and the morrow that it is recognized as new moon day, the moon will have already lost light and will continue to lose light until the middle of the month, after which will again begin to rebuild. The full moon reckoning defies all logic and is not true to the meaning of the words Kodesh, which means to be new, renew, or repair. The Gospel in the Stars. This is a famous book, and here's a verse, Brother Pete.
Here's Psalm 147, verse 4. The verse is not displayed.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, that verse is, He counts the number of the stars. He calls them all by name. And, okay, have you heard of the Mazzaroth? It's a gospel in the stars. And I'm going to quickly go through the meaning of what all the Mazzaroth means. The constellations all had Hebrew names and meanings. These are all about the Messiah, the incarnate Son, the Redeemer, the Sufferer, the Conqueror, the Sacrifice, the Living Water, the Liberator, the Crowned Lamb, the Judge, the King, the Protector, the Victor. And here is a chart of the Hebrew names for the Zodiac, and that was called the Mazzaroth. It's been renamed by the Greeks and so on. But throughout the 12 constellations in the Hebrew Zodiac, or Mazzaroth, a fascinating story of Jehovah's plan for mankind's redemption unfolds. So I just gave you a little preview of it. But here I will say the name that the Zodiac names the constellation, followed by the Hebrew name and a little bit of description. Virgo is Betula in Hebrew, the virgin, the seed of the woman, the virgin holding a branch and an ear of the corn, the promised seed of the woman, Messiah, the incarnate Son. Libra, Mezzanium, the balance or scales, the required price was paid. The scales, the price, deficient, balanced by the price that covers. Messiah, the Redeemer. And I may not be saying these Hebrew words right, but I'm going through it. Scorpio, Lisaf is the Hebrew name. The serpent, the mortal conflict. The scorpion, the attack of the enemy. The Redeemer's conflict. Messiah, the sufferer. And this whole story is in the heavens. It was placed there. Okay, Sagittarius, Cachet, the archer, the final triumph, the archer, the gracious one, the Redeemer's triumph, Messiah, the conqueror. Capricorn, Gedai, the sea-goat, life out of death. The sea-goat, the goat of atonement, slain for the redeemed, Messiah, the sacrifice. Aquarius, Delay, water buckets, blessing out of victory. The water bearer, the living waters of blessed poured out forth for the redeemed. Messiah, the living water. Pisces, Dagon, the fish, deliverance out of bondage. The fishes, the multitudes who follow, the blessings of the redeemed. Messiah, the liberator. Aries, Tilah, the lamb, glory out of humiliation. The ram or lamb, wounded and slain. The blessings of the redeemed consummated. Messiah, the crowned lamb. Taurus, Shor, the bull, his glorious coming. The bull, the congregation of the judge, the coming judge of all the earth. Messiah, the judge. Gemini, Timon, joined together, twins, his rule on earth. The twins, two natures, the reign of the Prince of Peace. Messiah, the king. Cancer, Ash, the butterfly, his possessions held secure. The crab, assembled together, the Redeemer's possessions held fast. Messiah, the protector. Leo, Airy, the lion, his enemies destroyed. The Lion of the tribe of Judah, the consummated triumph of the Redeemer in the end. Messiah, the victor. So the whole story was written up there. In the chronology and the Mazzaroth was a chief consideration in the study of astronomy among the Jews. Sacred time was based upon the cycles of the sun and moon. And the Talmud identifies the 12 constellations of the Mazzaroth with the 12 months of the Hebrew calendar. The correspondence of the constellations with their names in Hebrew and the months is as follows. Aries was Tilah, that's Nisan. Taurus, Shor, Gemini. And you can go through, you can pause the screen and go through and read all of these. The first three of these are in the east, and the second three in the south, the third three in the west, and the last three in the north, and all are attendant to the sun. This is all a quote also from Wikipedia. The four solstices, the Tikau of Nisan, Tammuz, Tishri, and Tevet, are often mentioned as determining the seasons of the year, and there are occasional references to the rising place of the sun. The heavenly bodies and their motions. This is a quote also. Two different cosmologies can be found in the Talmud. One is flat earth cosmology, resembling descriptions of the world in the mythology of the ancient Near East. The other is a geocentric model according to which the stars move about the earth. That's from Wikipedia. And here's a quote from the Talmud, Sychem 94b. The learned of Israel say, the sphere stands firm and the planets revolve. The learned of the nations say, the sphere moves and the planets stand firm.
The story of the heavens declaring the glory of Yahweh has its beginning in Genesis with the Creator's calendar, and it ends in Revelation with the woman of Revelation in 12:1. Naturally, this pure woman portrayed in Revelation 12, verse 1, is given as a great sign in the Creator of the heavens and the earth. Luke 21:25 states, "And there will be signs in the sun and moon and stars." Are we living in the times of the end? Yes. The time for the restoration of all things is now. The knowledge of the true Creator's calendar is now being restored. His true timekeeping system declares His majesty from the heavens. The woman in Revelation 12 brings us back to the Creator's time-keeping system of the sun, moon, and stars. Revelation 12:1. Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. The woman symbolizes Israel, Yahweh's people.
Yeah, and Brother Pete, did you have a comment about the woman being clothed with the sun?
Yes, I did, and that will actually come up even more so in the next verses, but let me state it here. To be clothed in the sun for a constellation, every constellation in the night sky can be seen in a given night. At sun down, the first constellation in the west, just above where the sun sets, will be your first, and if you watch all night and all the way across the sky until the sun rises, you will really only see 11 constellations, because the brightness of the sun is sitting on top of one of the constellations, and that is referred to as being clothed in the sun. So the point here is that the moon in its cycles starts by being clothed in the sun. That is, when the moon is behind or in union with the sun, in conjunction with the sun, it cannot be seen, and that starts the cycle of the moon. So this woman clothed in the sun, in the ancient symbolism, it indicates a starting of a cycle. It is the advent of the cycle of the woman in this imagery.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll go forward now. Thank you for that. Those who teach that the full moon is the new moon do so on the assumption and interpretation of Revelation 12:1, and maybe you've never heard of it, but it does go around the lunar Sabbath groups, showing people saying that full moon is new moon. But anyways, it's because one of the reasons is from the interpretation of Revelation 12:1. So we'll just take a brief look at this interpretation now. They claim the woman in Revelation 12, clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and the stars above her head, is the announcement of New Year's Day. On one day each spring, the constellation of Virgo is seen rising in the east with the full moon under her feet. She is also clothed with the sun, in the same sense that it is not completely dark outside when this phenomenon takes place. She has 12 stars on her head, meaning that she is the head of the year. Therefore, the full moon under Virgo's feet is the beacon for New Moon Day in the beginning of the year. Okay, and there's the verse again, Revelation 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. I'm going to leave all these links below for you to study out. So the problem or the assumption with the full moon theory here is nowhere in the text is it even implied that this phenomenon is the beacon for new moon day or the beginning of the year. Nor does this text say that the woman is standing on a full moon. If we are going to honestly evaluate every detail of the description of the woman, then we must recognize that in addition to standing on the moon, she is clothed with the sun. Rather than loosely interpreting clothed with the sun to mean that it is not yet completely dark when this phenomenon occurs, perhaps we should look for a time when Virgo, the Virgin, is literally clothed with the sun midway through the constellation. While the moon is under her feet, is there such a phenomenon? Yes, it happens every fall, often coinciding with the beginning of the 7th month. Virgo, this phenomenon happens on one lunation every fall. Nothing in the text, however, indicates that this has anything to do with New Moon Day or the New Year. Those who defend the full moon reckoning based on the partial fulfillment of this description in Revelation 12:1 in the spring are building exclusively on unfounded assumptions and conjecture.
While Revelation 12:1 is a divine confirmation that the true ecclesia throughout history has relied on the sun, moon, and stars for determining the Sabbath and holy days, nowhere in the text it is even implied that the description of the woman has anything to do with the new moon day or the beginning of the year. Those who attempt to use Revelation 12 as proof for full moon reckoning, while they might have good intentions, are adding to the text and basing their interpretation exclusively on speculation.
Okay, now we're going to relate this to Joseph's dream. He had a dream about sun, moon, and stars, didn't he? And he dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brethren and said, "Behold, I have dreamed yet a dream. And behold, the sun, moon, and 11 stars made obeisance to me." And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, "What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and your mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?" Genesis 37:9-10. And Rachel, Joseph's mother, was already dead at this time, but he, Jacob, did not know that the matter is referred to Bilhah, who had raised him. She had raised Joseph as if she were his mother. She was Rachel's handmaiden. Okay, we have a couple interpretations. This was interpretations as a dream. Joseph's dream was intended to communicate to him in the immediate context of the passage in Joseph's here and now. When this dream occurred, he had a father and a mother and 11 brothers, and so there was a perfect correlation and interpretation so plain that even his brothers understood it properly. Any variance in that number would have produced an unclear dream and would have made for messy interpretations. It wasn't intended to be interpreted long afterwards, but rather to make sense to Joseph and his family at the time when it was given. Joseph's dream again. Now this is the interpretation as a prophecy. We can assume it as a prophecy if that is the genre you feel the passage belongs to. But even then, we can take the same line. The fullness of his current family bowed down to him in the dream, and then the fullness of them came to seek him in Egypt for refuge. The similarities between Joseph's vision and the one in the Apocalypse are often noted. And that's Revelation 12:1 again. "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. 12 stars over her head represent the gathering of the 12 tribes of Israel at the end of time, the 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe. If you can accept a dream as a prophecy in this sense, then I think this interpretation is interesting. The woman who appeared in heaven clothed with the sun and crowned with 12 stars, and having the moon for her footstool, and being with child, and travailing in birth, is certainly, according to the accurate interpretation, our mother, O virgins, being a power for herself, distinct from her children, whom the prophets, according to the aspect of their subjects, have called sometimes Jerusalem, sometimes a bride, sometimes Mount Zion, and sometimes the temple and tabernacle of Jehovah. This is all part of a quote here I'm reading. So Joseph saw 11 stars setting or rising together with the sun and the moon. The number 12 is a famous one. There are 12 months in the calendar. There are the 12 tribes, the sons of Jacob. There are the 12 constellations, which represent the different months. Let us assume that each star is actually the brightest star in one of the Zodiac's constellation, or the complete constellation. So Joseph saw all 11 constellations. This is possible every night if you observe from sunset to sunrise.
Joseph's dream continued. The woman symbolizes Israel. Genesis 37 tells us that Joseph, Jacob's favored son, had a dream in which Jacob's other sons and his parents bowed down to him. When they told his father, Jacob, about the dream, his father immediately applied the imagery. The sun and moon were Joseph's father and mother. Jacob also named Israel and Rachel. Joseph's brothers were the 11 stars. The crown on the woman's head probably signifies that Messiah's future kingdom will center in Israel. Although Joseph's brothers bowed down to him in Egypt, someday restored Israel will bow down to Yeshua, who is far greater than Joseph. Psalm 89:37. Like the moon, it shall be established forever, a faithful witness in the skies. Selah. Isaiah 66:23. From new moon to new moon, from Sabbath to Sabbath, all flesh shall come to worship before me, declares Yahweh.
So, how to read the calendar in the heavens, we invite you to go to our website, lunarsabbathday.com, and there are a lot of good articles there and videos. So that is the end of our presentation, Psalms 19:1. Again, the heavens proclaim the glory of Yah, and the skies display his craftsmanship. And I just hope that this was a blessing to you, tying Joseph's dream into Revelation 21 and showing the Mazzaroth, the gospel and the stars, the calendar in the heavens. So thank you so much for being here today. And thank you again, Brother Pete.